So, you're a brand new rider, or you're about to be a brand new rider, and you're still a little on the fence on whether you're going to go the cruiser route or the sport bike route. Well, let me throw you a few nuggets, a little food for thought on why getting a sport bike or a sport style bike might be the better option to learn on. What's up, guys? I'm Code Gray. Welcome to the channel. Now, this video may be pro sport bike, but just because it is, it does not mean that I'm throwing shade at learning on a cruiser, because let's face it, people have been learning on cruisers long before sport bikes came around and been learning successfully. So it's not like you can't do it, and do it well. Now, the reasons I'll be throwing your way is to maybe help ease the beginning of your motorcycle journey. Let's put it that way. Now, I'm going to start you guys off with the phrase that will lead us into reason number one on why getting a sport bike as your first bike, or a sport style bike as a first bike, might be a better option. We're going to start off with this saying, and if you're a new rider and you haven't been scouring the internet very much, you may not have heard this saying 1,001 times. But if you've been on the internet for 5 months to a year, you've heard this saying at least 1,001 times, if not more. Now, this saying, oh man, I hate this saying. I hate it. It's untrue, and I don't know, gets on my nerves. And this saying is, it's not if you drop your motorcycle, it's when you drop your motorcycle. Now, if you're one of those people who enjoy saying that phrase to other people, just remember, just because you dropped your bike is no guarantee someone else is going to. Now, that being said, the chances of you dropping your bike in your first year, well, it's extremely high. So there is a reason for the saying. It's just not a guarantee like most people want to spout it to be. But yes, chances are good. Chances are real good. So what's one of the main reasons people drop their bike within their first year? Well, that will lead us into reason number one why you might want to look into a sport bike, and that is weight. For the most part, and I mean for the most part, sport bikes or sport style bikes are much lighter than cruisers. Let's take the Iron 883, the original Harley Sportster. That is a well-known beginner bike for cruisers. The weight of a Sportster on average is 560 pounds. Now, your average sport bike or sport style bike, and when I say sport style bike, I'm including, like, you know, your naked bikes, you know, upright naked bikes, not full on hardcore sport bikes like this. You know, I'm kind of including the whole little class together. But on average, your sport bikes are usually anywhere from like 380 to 420 pounds. So that's significantly less than a beginner cruiser bike. Now, even your bigger sport touring bikes, they don't even hit 500 pounds. Most of those are, you know, sub 500, you know, or close to, let's say, 450 to 480. So even that's quite a bit less. Now, the reason that might be a little bit better for you if you are a new rider, because you're going to come to strange stops in the road where you'll have unusual dips where you got to put your feet down, and you know, there's a dip in the road that you weren't expecting, and your bike leans over a little bit further than you thought it was going to, and you got to hold that sucker up. Well, it's a whole lot easier trying to hold up 400 pounds than 560 or more. So that alone could keep you from dropping that bike. All right, so what is next on the pro sport bike list? Lean angle. All right, so why is lean angle such an important thing to a new rider? Well, let me give you this scenario. you're a new rider, and I can pretty much guarantee, as a new rider, one of the very first things that you're going to be doing is looking for all the twisty roads. I did. I think everybody else did too, because it's fun. So that's where you'll be headed. And as a new rider, and if these roads are unfamiliar, you will not really realize how fast you need to enter or exit some of these turns. And what will happen is you're going to come into a turn that's a little bit tighter than you expected, and you are going to have to get that bike over to be able to make that turn. And if you don't have very good lean angle on your bike, you're going to be scraping pegs. As a new rider, this could potentially scare you if you are not used to it. What could possibly happen is you may try to straighten that bike up a little bit to stop those pegs from scraping. And if you try to straighten that bike up mid-turn and it's a sharp turn, you may not make that turn. You know, so that could be bad, you know? Now, I'm not saying scraping pegs is definitely a bad thing. There are some riders that actually really enjoy scraping pegs. For instance, you've got Doyle from the Blue Bike and Doyle. He will put titanium sliders on the outside of his floorboards, so when he goes and visits the tail of the dragon, he's throwing sparks everywhere. He enjoys the hell out of it. Quite a few people do, but he's an experienced rider, so he's used to that. He has fun with it. As a new rider, it may not be so fun. Now, with a sport bike, your foot pegs are so far off the ground that you basically have to have the bike completely on its side before you're scraping pegs. You're going to look like a MotoGP racer to be able to scrape pegs on a sport bike. And as a new rider, you're not going to get the bike over that far. And I've been riding 7 years, and I've never had my bike over that far. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some sporty type cruisers, like you got your Honda Rebel, and I'm really bad with names on the cruisers, guys. Terrible. I know Kawasaki, and there's a few other ones that are more sport style. For instance, Lady Babermoto, she has the Rebel 500, and she's yet to scrape a peg. They're actually pretty high off the ground, so she's got a pretty good lean angle. All right, for our last thing, we are going to combine our low weight and lean angle and mash those up together and have agility. Oh man, the agileness of a sport bike, oh, it's just so nice. So nice. You can whip these things around without even hardly thinking about it. Swerve out of the way of almost anything. These things are great. You'll go into a corner and it's like you don't even have to think about it. The bike just kind of takes you along with it. Very nice. You need to dodge an unexpected pothole? No problem. Whip around that sucker like it ain't even there. Roadkill? Same thing. Quick, easy, and nimble. Love it. Now, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but when I'm suggesting that you start out to learn on a sport bike, I am absolutely not suggesting you go out and get a 1000cc leader bike or even a 600cc sport bike. The point is to learn, not crash, okay? We are talking about body style, the weight, the nimbleness, those factors, not power. Now, if I'm being honest, I kind of have to admit that, you know, the UK, they kind of do it right. Well, let's put it this way. They kind of do it the smart way. For new riders, all their new riders have to start out on 125cc bikes. So they're all small, they're all lightweight, pretty nimble. I mean, they're just lightweight, nimble bikes. So it's good that all their new riders are learning on that. But as an American, I like my freedom and I don't want my government telling me what motorcycle I can ride and what I can't. So yes, it may not be the smartest way to go, but hey, I prefer our way, I guess. Not the smartest, but I still prefer it. Now, I almost forgot another tip, and this one is actually the most important one. If you are not interested in sport bikes, and that's not the style of bike that you plan on riding permanently, and it doesn't do it for you, and you don't look back at that sport bike and think, damn, I made a good choice. If that's not your thing, do not get a sport bike just because it might make your learning curve a little bit easier. Because what's going to happen is you're not going to be excited to ride that motorcycle. You're not going to look back and be proud to own that motorcycle. So what's going to happen? You're not going to want to ride that motorcycle. And that means you are not gaining experience and you're not getting any better. So that's not helping your learning curve at all. So if you're leaning towards the cruiser and that's what tickles your fancy, get the cruiser. Like I said at the beginning of this, people have been learning on cruisers for a long time, long before sport bikes, as I said. It's better to get out and ride and gain the experience than, you know, have a bike that's sitting around doing nothing. And also, like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're really on the fence and you're not sure whether you want a sport bike or a cruiser, I am going to urge you toward the sport bike side, because sport bikes are freaking awesome. All motorcycles are awesome. But, you know, this is my niche. This is my thing. That's what I like, you know? So you should like them too. Alright guys, that's enough motorcycle wisdom for one day. Time to wrap this one up. I'm Code Gray. I'll catch you guys in the next one.